Hello everybody, today trade cap for February 19th, 2026. So today I'll go over pretty much my entries, my exits, what the market did today. Pretty much talking about a lot of things. So this will be very informative for people that are trying to learn and trying to kind of like get some consistency in their trading because I'm a pretty decent trader, I would say. But yeah, so let's get into the video. So as usual, right, if you guys watch my previous trade recaps, and also let me before we get into that, also I'm probably gonna stop doing these trade recaps. Right, I'm gonna probably stop doing these trade recaps and I'm probably gonna actually make these private. I don't even know when I'm gonna start doing that, but I'm probably gonna stop doing trade recaps. Right, I've made so many trade recaps now on the YouTube, so a lot of information out there. But I've gave away kind of a lot of information on these trade recaps, a little bit too much, right? Pretty much years and years and all the time and money I spent on courses, all the information I've pretty much given out for free on those recaps. So I'm probably gonna stop doing these pretty soon. But yeah, so what happened today, right? We have to always, right? If you guys are watching my previous trade caps, right? You always have to know what the markets are doing. Where are we opening in our previous stage range? Are we opening above our previous stage range or opening below our previous stage range, right? So then we can have expectations for the market, maybe a small thesis. Of course, you never want to go with the like a thesis in the markets, right? You never want to be hung onto a thesis because the price can do whatever the fuck it wants, right? It doesn't really, if you're really hung up on longing and you're just you keep looking for a longing setup and price is bearish and you keep trying to force trade, you're gonna lose money, right? So the most important thing, right, is I'm telling you guys the 1 to 2 A plus setups, play and let those two setups play out, right? One setup win, and if you understand the markets are low probability, call it a day, right? You forcing setups or you're just fucking yourself over, right? The more trades you take in a day, you're pretty much lowering the probability of yourself winning, right? Because there's only a couple of A plus setups that are gonna appear, right? So as usual, right, as you can see, a QQ SPY, right, very choppy price action just from looking at, of course, right, from like the market close, very choppy price action. But yeah, so I was still able to capture two trades today on one on AMD and one on Nvidia. Let's get into those trades. So the first trade I took on AMD was, yeah, so pretty much, right, was patient. If you guys know, oh, actually, let me put the Discord server real quick. Right, I'll pretty much talk about what I saw and what I typed out. So SPY QQ look weak. If we hold below here, Tesla Nvidia puts look good. Send screenshots, or I can't speak English. Send screenshots of the charts. Chop, right, looking to see QQQ's break a range high or low of day. Chop, chop, chop. Looking like a no trade day because at this point we're just pretty much chopping. AMD calls on watch because we're now breaking out our range on QQQ and SPY. Also, AMD was kind of showing some nice price action, also a nice reclaim of that 200 key level. So it looked like a good name to trade. So AMD calls on watch in AMD. SEP simply off this break and retest of this pre-market high, instant retest. Stop loss below pre-market high. Very simple trade, guys. Like these setups are so fucking easy. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's just the hard part is not the setup, guys. The hard part is waiting for the step to appear. I'm telling you, like that's the hard part. So QQ SPY range wants to just push out every name, right? Because now we're above high of day on QQ SPY, so kind of wants to see price now get pushed up and kind of push AMD with it. So near stop loss on AMD. So pretty much, right? If you guys kind of see this level, right? This level I did mark a little bit later, but this level I'll kind of talk about it. I'll eat the sauce a little bit. But this 1 hour chart. So if you guys can see, right, like that level was this this key level right here, hourly high, this topic of this candle, right? So I wanted to see us kind of close above that, and if we can get close above that, then we can see our previous high level. But unfortunately, right, AMD clearly had sellers at that previous high level, right, previous pivot level of our previous day, and we clearly showed sellers at that area, and we just could not get above, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But then when we did have a nice candle closure, we had that nice pop to that previously high level. So I was kind of talking about that in the Discord server, right? Nice need a candle closure above that level I was talking about. So and we ended up having that nice pop. So this trade today was not really big of a win, right? We kind of had a $2 move on AMD, so nothing too crazy, right? This move to this move with this chop is around a 20-25%, I think. So not a bad trade. Right, ended up realizing I think about 18-19% on this trade, so managed it really, really well. I knew when the momentum would kind of die out. I knew when we would have that bigger pullback, we would kind of like have a bigger pullback, like I knew QQ and SPY were kind of choppy while I kind of waited in this consolidation. QQ and SPY kind of were just chopping around now. So after I think my trailer stopped at this candle closure right here below this fair top half of this fair value gap. I'm pretty sure. Let me actually just check because I actually did call it out. So out AMD trailers, yeah. So out AMD trailers. So don't let that previously high rejection because we ended up rejecting previously high. QQ and SPY is choppy. So imagine if we're rejecting a key level, which is AMD's previously high level, and QQ and SPY is chopping around. It's just low probability. I'm not trying to hold through that shit, right? High chance that we now come back down, consolidate, and end up going lower, right? Unless QQ Spy end up having a big move. And what ended up happening, right? We probably ended up consolidating, coming back down, and we actually did end up pulling market correction, having that nice bounce up, but we did end up kind of coming back down later in the day. So it doesn't really matter. Your thesis can be correct, but the choppiness and the momentum has to be there. That's just like what you have to kind of understand. So that was the first trade on AMD, right? It's pretty much simple set, pretty much a break and retest of this pre-market high level plus his 201 level, right? So yeah, that's first trade. Second trade in the video was a little bit of a worse trade. Kind of managed to trade really poorly. I don't even know, like, bro. This trade, by the way, I was up. I was up, I think 15-20%, and because about out the money contracts, and I didn't even trim. I didn't even take trailers off. I don't even know what's going on with me. I guess I was being greedy, but now my calls, I pretty much bought. Let me actually just double check, but I'm pretty sure I bought. Where would I even buy? Like, let me just think where I would buy. Where's something I would buy? I would probably buy simply strong price action above this previously high level. So this is what I would look at. Stop loss below or block plus key level. That's that would kind of play. So let me see. Okay, so I did kind of play that, but I waited a little bit for I ended up entering here, so a little bit later than I should have actually. So that's probably why the trade probably was a little bit worse. Oh, that's probably why I didn't take trailer trims now. That makes a little bit more sense. So pretty much right, the stop loss here, the actual stop loss, right? Let me actually just see real quick. Oh yeah, no, that's rough. So entering up here, right, enter on a video, right? This entry is pretty kind of bad, but you have to be able to understand that when you enter a trade and your entry is bad, you have to understand that, because if you trade reverse on, you have to understand when you have to stop out. So entering up here, right, my stop loss for market structure hole would be below this order block plus this key level, right? Because I order kind of entered so high up here, and the trend is kind of like going to the upside. I want to have a tighter stop loss. So simply, my stop loss would be a candle closure like literally below that 188 key level, right? So then we had that nice push up, and then I don't even remember this trade. I'll be honest. This trade I managed so poorly. I won't even lie. Like, such a poorly managed trade. I sized up a little. I sized normally on this trade, right? But I should be sizing down because QQ Spy choppy. I already had it confirmed, right? This trade happened at 9:15, and we're in chop. And for some reason, I sized normally, right? I also did end up stopping out where I should have stopped out, which should have been a candle closure below its level. End up holding in, stopping out over here. So managed to trade very poorly, gave out gains that I should have not given out. And guys, these losses, you have to understand, are very scary because these losses can kind of make you end up spiraling out and kind of taking more trades, forcing shit, and like doing things you don't want to be doing, right? So just being able to understand the markets are low probability, you take a loss, close the screens, and call it a day, right? I'm telling you, you have to be able to implement that strategy in your trading, or you're gonna just be screwed long term, right? Because that shows you have no patience and no discipline. It's that simple as that, and it's not easy to do. Like, I'm not here telling you guys it's easy to be able to wait for your setup and be able to call it a day when you are ready for the day, right? Being able to stomach a loss, right, and then maybe seeing it play out like 30 minutes later. These are not easy things to do, right? These are things you have to do for that like longevity in trading. That's just unfortunately what you have to do, and that's what people don't really understand in trading, is that it's not just about like your setups and entries. It's about you being disciplined, patient, not taking trades when the market is not high probability, right? The trading is a whole package, right? That's why I started doing trade content, because there's so much type of trading content that is that people need to learn, right? Like, it's not just about price action, key levels, and entry model, right? That's of course good. You can make money, but to be able to keep that money and actually make it consistently, you have to implement psychology, discipline, and kind of understanding what's high probability, what's low probability, when to force trades, when not to force trades, right? Those are all things you have to kind of understand. So yeah, how long a trade cap? 9 minutes long. Yeah, so pretty much that's a trade cap, right? Ended up taking two trades, right? One AMD, one Nvidia. Low probability day. I actually did pretty decent, because besides the Nvidia trade, even with the Nvidia trade, did pretty decent for the day, right? Executions wise, I would say very choppy day. A lot of people I know took very big losses, like 20, 30, $40,000 losses, whereas I'm out here happy with my $500 win. So there's for sure levels to trading, but always stay humble and always keep looking to learn, because the more you learn, the more consistent you'll get, and the more you can kind of uh find confidence in your trading and kind of scale up for that future, right? But yeah, so that's pretty trade cap for today, guys. If you guys have any questions, just comment down below, join the Discord, ask me if you guys have any questions, right? I'm pretty chill. I'll answer the majority of questions, right? But yeah, that's pretty trade cap. Let me see what these other names are doing. Yeah, no, recently the market just hasn't been doing shit, right? We're just in consolidation on QQ and Spy. So you have to be able to understand that we're going to be in range. So tomorrow on Friday, right, we're going to be opening up probably in range. I mean, I don't know for sure yet because we're in pre-market high, but right, this chart looks pretty horrendous. We're clearly in range, right? You only want to kind of take, you only know it's high probability day for above or below key levels and showing strong price action, right? That's kind of the only way. Or we're showing a name on tech with relative strength slash relative weakness, which the past couple of days, we really haven't gotten a name with relative strength, relative weakness, right? The trades have been majorly just based off QQ and SPY strength and weakness. So yeah, that's kind of part of my system. I shouldn't even be talking about that. But yeah, 10-minute long video, crazy. Yeah, I mean, that's Trader Cap, guys. If you guys have any questions, I already said that. I don't know, I'm repeating the same shit. Okay. Bye, guys. Peace.